So today, the Buffalo Bills lost 23-16 to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the home opener of Week 1 of the NFL season. I'm going to go over what happened and what we can take away from this game as Bills fans, and to try to look forward to next week and what we can build on and what needs to be fixed and corrected going on for the rest of the season. Now, the good that came out of this game was our defense looked back on form. Our run D looked better than it has, and since Sean McDermott came in, it was always our biggest weak point on our defense under McDermott, and I feel like our run D today was phenomenal. Our defense overall was amazing. There was some iffy calls. I'm going to say there were some correct ones, some iffy ones that I probably wouldn't have liked to see called, but you can't really blame the game on that. But our defense played lights out, only allowing, 16 points? I just believe that our defense is going to be what leads us to a lot of wins this year, unlike what happened last year where it was mostly our offense. So I think our defense will be able to carry us to some wins, specifically against teams that have weaker offenses, such as like the Jags and things like that on an upcoming schedule. Our offense was fine passing-wise. It was a tough game. They have a great defense. I'm not too worried about how it looked. Skill-wise, because their defense is phenomenal. They're always the top of the league, and they're always really good at the beginning of the season. Like last year, they started out 11-0. They beat some good teams on an 11-0 stretch. They beat the Ravens twice, I believe. Mike Tomlin always has his team ready for in the beginning of the weeks, and they always play good against harder competition. And like I said, they're always good in the beginning of the season. The Steelers are just a good team overall with phenomenal defense. So this team was probably looked at like a little too easier than we probably looked down on them a little too much as Buffalo Bills fans, and probably looked at ourselves a little too highly. This was a good team from a team who constantly competes for an AFC crown. So I think that the way we went out there and performed, I think that it matched what we should have been expecting coming into this game. And it was a close game overall. It was a good defensive battle. I really enjoyed it. Shame it didn't go the way we did, but I think that on a basics of defense and just playing a hard competitor, we did pretty well at most things. Sliding over to the bad now, we have, first up, Brian Daboll's offensive play calling, specifically on fourth down. There was specifically the 1 4th down where we had a 4th and 1, and instead of just going for the sneak again, which they may have been sitting on, he went for a fake sneak back lateral pass to our running backs, hoping that our fullback could go out there and block the corner. It was just a mess and was not the right play call for the moment. If you're going to go for it there, just stick with the sneak. If that stops, if that doesn't work, oh well, but at least you didn't go 5 yards backwards like you did in this. Also, we had some questionable play calling in the red zone, a lot of throws to the flat, not a lot of shots into the end zone itself. We were the best red zone offense last year, so I don't know what they were trying to cook up there, and I know our only touchdown came in the red zone, but we were, I believe, 1 of 4 or 1 of 3 in this game, so I think that the play calling needs to take another step up offensively from Mr. Daboll if we need to continue to win and compete against these top-tier teams, but I think that it'll get better as weeks go on and we get more in a rhythm of playing in NFL games and stuff like that. And then, of course, another big negative that is glaring, and the reason most likely that we lost was the punt block and the punt teams. This happened 2 years ago against the Patriots where we got a punt blocked and that basically sealed the feed for us and they got a touchdown. This is the same thing. We need to get better on punt blocking. I don't know whose fault it was, if it was the snapper or Matt Hawk who caught the ball low or maybe he held it too long, but the ball was going to be blocked 100 times out of 100 without they were swarming him at that point before he kicked it. So we need to get our special teams down. Our special teams have sometimes been an issue under this regime, so we need to get that figured out fast. And I just think that we need to just come out and play a much better game. We looked a little sloppy. Like I said, it was a great team we faced against. Our defense held us in there, but I think our offense needs to come out and perform better, even against a great defense like that. They need to come out, fire on all cylinders, and the special teams needs to make 0 mistakes, because when you make mistakes like that, that's how you lose games. Leave it up to the offense or defense to let you down. No, special teams, you're out there for only a handful of plays a game. Do not let it matter to the other team. But overall, I'm not as disappointed as I would hope. I would think so. I'm just mad because I lost my winning streak of going to games in person. I was undefeated up until this day. But like I said, it was a good opponent who hang their hat on good defense, which defense is always better in the beginning of the season than the offense. I think our offense should be coming around and clicking more. We'll have a tune-up game against the Dolphins, who we always tend to smack around, but they're pretty good now this year. So I'm hoping that maybe we can get our offense going against them down in Florida next week. But yeah, I'm not overall as disappointed as I thought it would be. It was a good game overall, especially if you like those defensive stalemate kind of games. And we just lost to a good competitor who showed up and wanted it more today. So we need to come back next week, get that offense humming, keep the defensive effort up, and minimize mistakes, especially the turnovers and stuff like that. So other than that, I'll see you guys next week with my review of the Dolphins and Bills game.